Hi, everyone. It's Denise Brown from the Caregiving Years Training Academy, and we have a special event coming up November 10th. It's the Caring Conference, Our Hopeful Futures, and we have two of our presenters joining me today. We have J.J. and Natalie. They are sisters.
Hey.
They're in business together as sisters, and they are going to present at our conference as it relates to our theme, Our Hopeful Futures.
Right.
So JJ, let's start with you. So we had a phone conversation. During our phone conversation, I said, oh, you guys should present at the conference. So
Right.
I kind of volunteered you, and you said yes, which is always awesome.
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay, so since we've talked, you've been working on your session. You've been working on your content. So give us like a little teaser from your perspective of what you like about what you're going to present to us.
So we are, well, Natalie and I like to talk. Let's start there, Denise. So that's why we think we're perfect for this. But what we're excited about is when we speak, we really like our sessions to be interactive. And, after COVID, it was very hard to do interactive presentations virtually, but it can be done. And so with our previous work experience, Natalie's done a lot of speaking, especially during the COVID period. What we're looking forward to is not just having our those listeners just kind of having to sit in their chair and listening during Zoom, but we've got some things, some worksheets, which you're not going to be tested on, but hopefully some things that you'll be able to take away, some resources, some different tools that when you leave our session, we hope you'll be entertained, but you'll also have some tools that you'll take away that will help you in as a caregiver, as a consultant, as anybody that that cares, which everybody cares for someone, basically, but as anyone that could even pass that tool along to someone else.
Okay, so Natalie, our conference theme is Our Hopeful Future. And I'm wondering, what do you think about that theme, just generally speaking, as it relates to caregiving and caring for your mom?
Well, not only caring for my mom, also caring for my husband. My husband was diagnosed with cancer earlier this year, and he is a survivor. We found out on October 4th that his cancer was in remission. So we are very blessed. And so we were juggling me in New York. I live in Virginia, and trying to support him getting cancer treatment, and also our mom, and looking to move her from assisted living to back into the community, living with our younger sister. And hope is the exact word that you could use. Hope has many definitions. We hoped it was going to work on many levels. We hoped we would stay sane. We hoped that, it would work out. But hope also translates to faith for me. God is very close to me, and I believe from our faith, it gives us hope. And I think without hope, I'm not sure how people move forward in their day. And so I think we all will get hope from different places. I think we get hope and inspiration. I kind of use those synonymously, but hope from people who support us as caregivers. I can tell you, I have never been so blessed as to have the kindness of strangers, the kindness of people that we would meet, especially when Jason and I were in New York. We had no family in New York. We had no one, and we were doing treatment every day. And we met so many amazing people. And that gave me hope for society, that we had not lost our humanity. And so it gives me goosebumps talking about it. I met so many amazing people, and most of them didn't have a choice to be my friend. And so I just don't know a stranger. And so everybody was so kind to me. And then I know with caring for our mom and trying to navigate the system, it was frustrating, but we also had those glimmers. Those, to me, hope is also the glimmers and the silver linings. Like, even in the hard, I think you can find the glimmers that help you get through the day, which is hope to me. So I would say, I think caregivers have to have that, and they have to be able to see it. And sometimes when you're in the middle of it and you're in your darkest moment, you just feel like, I'm just going to go crawl in a corner because I don't know that I can take one more thing today. It's when hope and that glimmer and that the shimmer of hope comes back, and you're like, oh, there you are. Okay, let me get back up and keep going. And so that, to me, is the hope that we want to offer, both in our training, to say, hey, it's out there and there's people who want to support you, and that, yes, you can do it.
Yeah. So I also think there's hope in what you guys are doing with your career. So JJ, when we had talked, I guess it was really maybe 6 or 7 weeks ago. It really wasn't that long ago, but so much has happened since then.
Right.
You had sold your business and decided, I'm going to actually do something different. I'm going to launch a business with my sisters, and we're going to support family caregivers.
Right.
And I think that's hope right there, that a caregiving experience gives you an opportunity in your career that you can transform this experience and really start to think about, what else can I do out in the world that is a business that generates revenue, that supports me? Okay, so JJ, now that you're officially into this, you've started your business, it's up and running, the shingle is out in front of the door, it's open for business.
Sorta, it's in the wind.
Yeah, that's all right. It's okay. I think that's for all of us, to be honest with
Okay.
you. Okay, the shingle sometimes swings, but how does it feel so far?
I've started so many businesses in my past. I've always been I call it the serial entrepreneur. I was a banker for almost 20 years. And when I got out of that, I knew that whatever I did, I had to do something that felt good, that I enjoyed. It wasn't just getting up and going to work the next day. So I followed another path for about 10 years. We just sold that business in August. When I get up in the morning, it's something where you should always, no matter what you do, if you sell flowers, if you are the person that gardens, if you pick up my trash every morning, every week, you should enjoy that. You should want to get out of bed and do it. And I know for Natalie, for my younger sister, Emily, it's a passion project. And I get up in the morning, yesterday online, we went ahead and made our announcement of the business. We've been building it slowly, releasing things. So we made the announcement. It's a little nerve-wracking because you're like, okay, now it's real. We have announced this to friends, family. And when you put it on the internet, the world knows and they don't forget. You're like, all right, I put it out there. Fail, succeed, everyone knows. But it is, Natalie and I, we talk every morning, and it's our early power breakfast. She's in Virginia, I'm in Florida. So we have a power conference every morning, what's going on with this. We make sure we hit all the social media, because you have to look at caregivers or people in this economy, in this care economy, in this field. I really believe time is limited. And so you need to get valuable information out quickly. It needs to be quality information, and you want to make someone's life in that split second. You need to make a difference. You need to get them on a path. Like my younger sister says, when she needs information, she needs it quick, just deliver it to her. And I think one of the sources that kind of put this fire in our bellies, was when we were transitioning everything with my mom, we couldn't get information. And that's what fired us up. If we didn't ask the right question, we couldn't get an answer. It was out there, and I asked a question, but it wasn't the right question. And the answers are out there, but it took 3 of us to get us where we are. And our goal is for someone out there that's trying to care for someone, that it can be easier, because if you have to be the financial planner, the health planner, the personal assistant, the grocery shop, if you have to do all of those tasks and in all of that research for all of those things, that is, for me, you go ahead and toss it out there. That's impossible for someone. Anyone that's doing that, I can't imagine how they keep their sanity. And so today I got up and it was every day is different. It's fun. It's a challenge. Like yesterday was a challenge for me to download a video on Facebook. You know, I almost called my 6-year-old grandson and said, "Hey, how can I do this?" But it is, I feel like for both of us, the passion is there. And I really, you want to say, I can change the world, I can do this, or I can help one person. And if somebody can benefit in any way from what we have to offer, that would be my blessing in this. That would make all the difference.
I'll tell you this too, Denise. The thing that's been the most surprising, because clearly, we don't know a stranger, we talk to everybody. And so, the conversations that I have, I work in the mental health field. So I've served, I have a servant heart. We all 3 do. We were raised that way. We're originally from Tennessee, so that's why our eyes are real long. And so, but we have servant hearts. We believe in helping others. Our grandparents did, all of our family, that's what we do. And so I think it's really important to know it's what I didn't realize before I became a caregiver. I was a wife. I'm a daughter. I'm a sister. I was a wife. And when my husband got sick, I became a caregiver. And I don't know when that switched over, but in the sense of like when I felt like I lost that sense of myself. And the one thing that I've found is that in talking to people, I'll talk to people and I share, again, being from Tennessee, I tell them my whole story. I talk to them about, neat initiatives that we're doing. I'm like, oh yeah, they ask me what I'm doing. I'm like, oh yeah, I work in a mental health company and we're doing this really cool thing. We're starting a podcast. We want to help others. I'm proud of my husband being cancer-free right now, especially I pray that he stays that way. But they're like, oh, well, my mom was that. Or the gentleman at Best Buy who helped me with our laptop, Lord help him. He dealt with J.J. and I really well. He had the patience. True. And so he's sitting there and we're talking. He's like, what are you guys doing? We're like, we're starting a podcast. And he goes, well, what is it about? And we're like, reluctant caregivers. And he was like, oh. And I said, yeah, but it's not because we don't want to care for our loved ones. It's that it's really just about us and our own insecurities and how scary it is and not sure what's going to happen. And, in the worst time in their life, you want to be on your A game and you just feel like nothing's good enough because I want my husband to have the best and I wanted to be my best and I'm not a great cook. And so I'm like, and so he said to me, he goes, I was a caregiver. My mom's a paid caregiver, but we cared for my dad and I helped care for my dad. And I was like, no way. And so we befriended Marty. He's our bestie at Best Buy. And then I met a guy at Fleet Feet when I was buying shoes. Again, I don't know a stranger. And he was telling me that his mom cared for her mom. And we started talking about it. And it's like the caregivers are in the shadows and it's because we don't talk about it. And most people and everything I've read and researched, and it makes sense, don't identify as caregivers. I don't personally identify as a caregiver. I am a wife because I don't want to be my husband's caregiver. I want to be his wife. And caregiving is a component of being a wife or a mother or a daughter. But at some point there's this switch and I'm still trying to figure out when did it change? So I think that's the piece. We want the people who are providing care for their loved ones to be able to identify and us to say, you're not alone. Clearly we talk a lot.
So this is awesome. So I'm curious, as sisters, how is it to be business partners?
Well, I get accused of talking to Natalie all the time by my husband. He was like, "Are you talking to your sister again?" There's kind of some sketchiness, like, "Are you guys just goofing off again?" And I have to say, it's work.
No.
It's work. So I'm not sure if Jason feels the same way, but I think they think we're playing a lot, like planning our next vacation. So
I mean, we did take a sister vacation together.
yes, it's true. But there is our bond. We're all 2 years apart. I'm the oldest. Natalie's middle, and then Emily's the youngest. And I'll speak for all of us because I always do. We have a very special bond, and we can usually finish one another's sentences. It doesn't require a thought. It doesn't. We just kind of know what the other is saying. We can get angry with one another. We can throw things at one another, and that's okay. We can be testy with one another, but you still it's okay because that's who we are. The same young girls that stole each other's clothes when they were younger are the same women. Yeah, the same women who call and say, "Hey, do you have mom's recipe for stroganoff?" Or the same women who call and say, "Hey, I'm suffering this heartbreak. Can you help me? Can you get me through this?" It's like having a best friend that you've grown up with all your life. But I have two.
Well, we know each other's strengths too, Denise. I think that's the other part. So
absolutely,
my background versus JJ's background versus Emily's background. And so when we have a problem or a challenge or an obstacle, really an obstacle arises, because we're very solution focused. So when something happens, we're like, okay, who's the pro at it? And so like, I have a lot of regulatory, I understand, insurance and HMOs and PPOs, and I don't understand all that stuff. And so when documentation, stuff like that, I understand how things like that work really well. And then JJ's got her strengths from her finance background, but she's also the oldest, and that comes natural. So she's always used to being in charge. Our mom had JJ in charge because our parents were young. When they got married and they had us young. And so we all kind of grew up. I mean, we did grow up together, and our parents worked. We don't come from a wealthy background. And so our parents worked, and JJ was kind of in charge, and we just kind of roll that way still. And so I'm a type A personality. So every now and then JJ and I may have like strong opinions, and we like to joke that we really strongly believe in our own opinions. Thank you to our parents. But Emily's normally the mediator, and she'll be like, well, but JJ and I normally see eye to eye, know how she's going to think. She knows how I'm going to think. So it makes it easy to work together.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. And one of the things that you know how to do too is have a discussion around a conflict. So I think oftentimes with colleagues, you're like, I'm not sure how to fight with this person, and fight isn't the right word, but maybe it's disagree, right? I don't know how to actually have a dissenting opinion and then talk it out. And sometimes you worry about speaking your mind and then thinking, okay, how is this going to change the relationship? But you already know the relationship doesn't change. So you have the comfort of knowing, I've got to tell you this, I'm concerned about, or I've got this great idea, I really think we should pursue it. And that's the beauty of that lifelong history that you can.
Yeah, there's no HR. There's no HR in our company at this moment. I'm pretty sure HR, somebody would have been fired with our text messages. I'm not going to lie.
Absolutely.
The text messaging honestly could be a book in itself. If you could see the running theme of our text message between me and my sisters, it's hilarious and wrong on so many levels.
But that's the beauty of it. There is no HR. So no one's going to tell on anyone else. Okay, this has been so much fun to talk to you guys. And I'm so excited that you're going to present at the Caring Conference on November 10th. And I wondered if you were to say in maybe like one quick sentence what you feel attendees will take away from your workshop, what would it be? And I'll leave it up for whoever would like to answer that one.
Watch us both, we're like deferring.
I'm like, Jay, I'd be like, you what to say?
Well, the easy thing is I hope they defer, they take away hope. But I think that they'll take away some joy as well.
Oh, yeah.
Take joy with you.
Be joyful. Find the
joyful.
glimmers in your day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Okay. JJ and Natalie, thank you guys so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
So we'd love for you to join us on November 10th. It's virtual. You can receive CEUs if you're a nurse in any state. CEUs are $20, but it's free to register. And you can go to caringourway.com to register and see our agenda. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Take care. I'm Denise Brown. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.